Good evening, 10:30 here, August 22nd. Kent Hovind, trying to get a few more questions in. Hannah, you've been such a blessing. I know I've confused you terribly with going through these questions, and in the last couple of broadcasts ago, we had some of the questions about the shack. I'm going to repeat those and put all the stuff about the shack in one video so people can, and then I'll shut it off without even getting any more questions, just answering the story about the shack. Okay. For those new to this, my name is Kent Hovind. I taught high school science 15 years and became an evangelist in 1989, teaching on science and the Bible and creation and dinosaurs and topics like that. And for the record, I believe the Bible is literally true and scientifically accurate. And I believe the evolution theory taught in our schools is the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the history of humanity. Never has there come a dumber idea into anybody's mind than the idea that we all came from a rock 4.6 billion years ago for no reason, with no help. It's dumb. There's no kind way to say it. Just like my daddy would say, son, you just got to tell the truth sometimes. If they're lying, tell them they're lying, So that's a dumb idea. So I support that. Now, but in my teaching on creation versus evolution, I just happened to mention one time or a couple of times that I had read a book that, while I was in prison for 9 years over the dumbest law in the history of America, structuring, I read a book called The Shack, which was a novel. It's a story. It's made up, okay? It's a novel. But very interesting and very life-changing. So, and so hundreds of people have written me saying, thank you for recommending that book. I read it and I loved it and it changed my life. Hundreds of people. But several have said, oh, you're a Hovind, you're a heretic, for even recommending that book. That book's heresy. So I thought I would respond to the questions. I answered a couple of them before. I'm going to re-answer them again here, so you can fast forward about 6 minutes if you'd like to. And then I'll get into the new ones that have been asked on this book, The Shack. Let me give you the story first. In the story called The Shack, the story was written by a man who was raised on the mission field in Papua New Guinea with the headhunters and cannibals. He, as I understand it, I've never met him, don't know who he is, okay, moved to Oregon and got a job working at a convenience store and a couple other places, and he was just supporting his family. And the Lord just kind of gave him this idea to write this book. He thought, wow, great. So he wrote it, and it turned out to be #1 bestseller, New York Times bestseller list for 2.5 years. Made the guy a multi-millionaire. Fabulous, excellent reception, and everybody that read it, almost everybody, loved it. In the story, and it's just a novel, the man has, he's a computer techie kind of guy. He's got 5 kids, 2 off in college, 2 high schoolers, a boy and a girl, and a 6-year-old daughter. In the story, the 2 are off at college. He decides to take the younger 3 out camping for the weekend. They go out in the woods in Oregon to this campground. His high schoolers are horsing around in the canoe on the lake, and they tip it over, and the boy's life jacket gets caught in the canoe somehow, and he's stuck underneath, and he's drowning. So the dad dives in, former lifeguard dad, and rescues the 2 kids and drags them in. And everybody's, yay, he rescued the kids. Wonderful. While he's out there with all the commotion, though, he discovers when he gets back and things calm down, his 6-year-old daughter has been kidnapped from the campground. They find one shoe kicked off in her fighting against this kidnapper, and nobody saw what happened. And so they end up searching frantically for who knows how long, weeks, maybe a month, and finally find her bloody dress in a shack out in the woods in Oregon. I never find the body, never find the kidnapper. And so the guy, Mackenzie, they call him Mac, of course, is devastated. The whole family's torn up, and what happened? My daughter's kidnapped and never found a bloody dress, and that's it. Obvious what happened. Anyway, 3 years later or so, he gets a note in his mailbox on an icy day when the mail doesn't even run. And he looks at the note, and it says, Mackenzie, or Mac as they call him, it's been a while. Let's meet at the shack. Let's talk this weekend. Signed Papa, which is his wife's name for God. Nobody would have known that except him, His wife always calls God Papa. Anyway, so Mac struggles, of course, does God write notes? Does God even care? Why did God let this happen? Blah, blah, blah. Long story short, Mac decides to go to the shack, and he spends the weekend with God to find out, why did you let this happen? My new book series is getting real close to getting ready to come out over the next month, we hope, to produce all of them. We did the book, What on Earth is About to Happen, for heaven's sake. This book series is the emails that I wrote from prison for the 9 years almost I was in prison, knee mail, writing on your knees. We're going to call the book, Why on Earth Did This Happen, for heaven's sake? Why did this happen to me? I mean, you're talking to a guy who asked that question a lot. And so I won't spoil it. But over the next month or so, we'll be putting out one book at a time. It looks like it's going to be about 6 to 8 books in the series, each book containing 6 months of my Dear God knee mails. As we can, we'll get them ready and out the door. They'll be up on eBay. I mean, not eBay, on whatever they call it, Lulu or eBooks. Yeah, ebook. I don't even know what an ebook is. That'll be up there first. But then come out in paperback as quickly as we can, hopefully soon. We're working on it. Anyway, so in this novel, he spends the weekend with God. God, why did you let this happen? If you haven't read it, I still, as of today, August 22nd, 2015, recommend you read the book. And that's going to anger some of these guys who wrote me letters. Well, listen, if you don't think people should read it, then you certainly shouldn't read it. Then don't do it. Man, if you think it's bad, stay away. Okay, here we go. This one from, I read this, again, I did this a couple days ago, but I'll read them again to get it all in one spot to help poor Hannah, who's trying frantically to keep up with all this. I just saw a video where you give a glowing endorsement of the shack, and you are talking with someone on the phone saying that repentance is not required for salvation. This disturbs me. I have a lot of respect for you as a man of God, but if this is true, then I will weep and dry my eyes and find another creation preacher. Do I need to find another teacher? Well, apparently so, and I don't threaten easily, okay? If you're going to threaten me with leaving me if I don't change my teaching, you might as well go ahead and leave now, okay? You're not going to threaten me with, change your teaching, I'm leaving you. Well, then, bye-bye, okay? I try desperately to do what God tells me to do, and if you don't like it, go somewhere else. Okay, number 2. I was just flipping through some Christian YouTube videos and came across this Brian Moonen guy. Never heard of him before. Started listening, and he tore a strip off of you for reading and recommending a book he calls satanic, called The Shack. Again, I apologize. I've not seen Brian's video. Someone sent me the link to it, and I clicked on it and looked at the picture and the title, and I haven't had time. Okay, and probably won't. But give me a call, Brian. I'll be glad to talk with you, or anybody. I spend a whole day on the phone that I'm not working, or being grandpa. Anyway, he attacks and accuses you of the very worst things, brother. He told people to shun you. Yeah, we had covered that before. That is a desperate tactic, telling people to shun somebody. That's what the Amish or the Mennonites do, and that's a good sign they're desperate. Okay, shun me. That'll help. Man, less phone calls, less mail to answer. Yay. Tell them, keep going, Brian. Tell them, stay away from Hovind. What it really does, in reality, when somebody says that, it makes them come see what I'm about and watch my videos and get saved. The atheists have done more to promote the gospel than many Christians have, because they say, oh, Hovind's terrible, he's stupid, he's wrong, he's dumb, don't you watch his stuff? So people say, wow, I better watch it, and they end up watching it. We have thousands of letters from people like that who got saved watching a video from somebody telling them, don't watch anything Hovind does. Keep it up, atheists. We love you very much. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. That was from John. I won't read your whole letter, but thank you, John. I know I've heard there's 6, 7 people wrote to me, or at least Hannah sent me 7 letters from people saying I shouldn't recommend the shack, blah, blah, blah. Okay, thank you. I guess we're going to lose 7 viewers out of the, what do we got, 23,000, 33,000, or whatever. Okay. I'm going to miss you. Number 3. I'm alarmed you could in any way promote the shack. This book is full of heresy. God being represented as an African woman. This one from no name, anonymous, of course. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Anonymous. Is God a white man? Or is God a black man? Is God a Jewish man? Exactly. You tell me what God is. In the story, it's a novel, and it's done for, it's a common writing tactic. Jesus did all kinds of parables. I mean, read the Gospels. It's a parable. It's a teaching tool. No, God is not a black woman, and the Holy Spirit is not an Asian woman. Read the book. It's obvious this is a representation to get people to stop and think. The book starts off, he first meets God at the shack. God's a black woman. Just simply to strip away all his preconceived ideas about who God is. I think it was classic. It was well done. Brian wrote the book. Brian somebody. I think what was his name, Brian? I don't remember. I've read it 9 times. I don't remember the author's name. It doesn't matter to me. I don't worry about that stuff. I think it was great and well done. Do it again, brother. Okay. Let's see. There's so much to criticize in the book. Just one example. Jesus said to Mac, "Am I the best way any human can relate to Papa or Sarayu, which is their name for the Holy Spirit?" Okay, Mr. Anonymous, yep, you definitely should not read that book. Do not ever read it. Just, why don't you get a pile of them together and burn them downtown? That would get people's attention. Okay, number 4. Dr. Hovind, love your work. Although this video confuses me, how do you respond to the points this video is making? I know it would have been nicer for the guy who discussed it with you. Yeah, and more Matthew 18 example, but your video, YouTube is full of videos and false claims about you, and you can't answer all your critics. That is correct, and I don't intend to. I am busy plowing my row that God gave me to plow, and if I take time to stop and chase all the birds and look at everybody else's row, how deep they're plowing or how straight they're plowing, I won't get mine done. Okay, I'm 62 and a half. I probably have less than 40 years left. I want to stay busy. Do something for God. So during the war between the states, some people call it the Civil War. No such thing as a civil war, obviously. But during the war between the states, Abe Lincoln got tons of criticism, and one of his cabinet members, and he never answered him. One of his cabinet members said, "Mr. Lincoln, aren't you going to answer these critics?" He said, "No, there's a war going on. If I stopped and took time to answer all these critics, I couldn't focus on the war." He said, "History will judge whether I did the right thing or not." And sure enough, history will judge, and God is going to judge Kent Hovind someday. I'm a little nervous about that, and I want to do what's right. And I listen to the critics just a little bit. Oh, God, what do you think, God? If you want to talk to them, to me, please do. But I'd rather have you talk straight to me. Okay, you don't need to go through them. Just tell me, God, what do you want? And I'll try to do it. So, yeah, as far as answering the critics, I'm probably not going to. Other than these 7 questions here, I'm going to be done with this topic, probably for life, and who knows, we'll see. I can't believe it even came up. It's a book, for heaven's sake. It's paper, you know. Anybody can write a book, and I read 2 or 3 books a week the whole time I was in prison. I think I read, I don't know, over 2,000 books or something while I was in prison. I'm a readaholic. I love to read. And I read fast, and I comprehend pretty good, and I retain some of it, you know, not all of it, but so it's just a book. And nobody's going to tell me what to read and what not to read. I'm a grown man, so if you don't like it, don't read it. Just real simple. Okay. Wow. This one, YouTube is full of false claims about you. Greetings from the Netherlands. Oh, good. Thank you, Peter. I've been over there a couple times. I never preached in the Netherlands. I got to the airport, spent 5 hours each time sitting, waiting for the next flight to someplace. But I did take a train one time. I had 5-hour layover, so I drove across the country and back. The flattest country I've ever seen in my life. I mean, you guys need a few mountains over there. Call the folks in Colorado. They have some they could sell you. Anyway, thank you, Peter. Appreciate that. Next one. There's a video on YouTube saying you promote the shack. Please tell me this isn't true. From David. No, David, is true. Yeah, it is and going to continue to be true. A little leaven spoils the whole loaf. I agree. I agree with that. I don't think that ties into your first sentence. Are you saying my promoting the shack is wrong, therefore that spoils everything else I teach? Is that what you're saying, David? Hopefully you're not saying that. This book is terrible and blasphemous. Okay, well, if you feel that way, don't watch it. Don't read it. Don't read it. I love you much and hope this guy is wrong. God bless you, David. Well, thank you, David. I appreciate at least you putting your name, and you put your phone number here, and I may call you about this. I don't know if I'll get time. But, yes, I think I'm a grown man. I can do what I want, and I think people ought to read The Shack. I don't sell it. I never met the author. I make nothing off of this other than I just simply mentioned it was a great book. And the guy that called me this morning was crying, saying, Brother Hovind, I've never read a book in my life. Never read any book except the Bible. But when I heard the critics say, Hovind's crazy for recommending The Shack, he said, I went and got The Shack and read it. He said, that book changed my life. Thank you for recommending it. Crying on the phone this morning at I was at my office here. So it is a life-changing book. Just go read it, for heaven's sake. It's a book. You ought to be big enough to be able to eat the meat, spit out the bones, hopefully. If you're old enough to push the button to listen to me on YouTube, you ought to be able to figure out that. Okay, number 6. Do you have a response to the guy who says, you are a heretic for saying The Shack is a good book? Yep, I got a response. He's wrong. I'm right. Okay. I was disturbed by a video by someone blasting you on YouTube because you said this fictional book was a good book. Yep, well, I guess you're going to have to be disturbed then, because I do think it's a good book. I read it 9 times, and we'll read it again if I get a chance. Now that I'm not locked up, I'm probably not going to get that kind of time again, but who knows, they may lock me up again. Number 7, from Eli. There's a guy named Brian on YouTube playing audio of Kent Hovind saying we should kill everybody that is a sinner, and some other things that are troubling to me. Mr. Hovind, did you really say that? Eli, no, I did not say that. I don't know what was said on the video, but let me explain my position very clearly. The Bible teaches very simply, for crimes, crime has to be punished. We have to have a system of government. First thing God said to Noah getting off the ark, one of the first things, Genesis chapter 9, whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. I think translated that would mean God is saying, Noah, you all need to set up a system of government where if somebody kills somebody, you all get together and kill him. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. You all get together and set up a system of government. And we need government. We need courts. We need judges. We need punishment for crime. We need laws. No question. I agree with all of that. Now, what do you do if somebody breaks the law? There's the question. In the Bible, in Exodus 20, 21, 22, or Deuteronomy 23, 4, and 5, the laws are spelled out pretty clearly. For certain crimes, you get a beating. And the beating takes place in the court in front of the judge. You have to lay down and watch. Judge, you just said give that guy 20 lashes. Watch what 20 lashes does to a man. Just watch, Judge, watch. That'll make you be a good judge. Today in our system, the judge just gives out a number. Last Friday, the judge sat up there and told Paul Hansen you have to serve 18 months in prison. To the judge, it is simply a number. 18 comes after 17. This is coming from a person who's never spent 18 seconds locked up in jail. 9 years ago, she said to me, Kent, you spend 120 months in prison. It's just a number, 120. Try 120 months in prison. I spent almost 9 years in prison because somebody just picked a number, 120 months. And the whole sentencing guideline concept is stupid on its face, just extremely stupid. Stop doing this. Jesus said these people give out burdens grievous to be borne, but they won't lift it with their little finger and touch them. The system is evil. It supplies jobs, a lot of jobs, and brings in a lot of money and steals a lot of people's hard-earned property. That's what it's really for. But in the Bible, you get a beating, and the judge has to see what it does. The judge gives this number, 120 months, and then their person's taken off in chains, and the judge goes in each month and goes home and is with their family. Has no clue what 120 months does. Not a clue in the world. And so in the Bible, you have to give if the judge gives the punishment of, hey, you get 20 lashes, then the judge has to watch the guy get 20 lashes. Read Deuteronomy 23, 4, and 5, where it talks about that. Or you get a fine. If you steal my sheep, you pay back 4 sheep, and everybody goes home that day. Nobody goes to jail. You go home. You pay back 4 sheep or 5 cows or whatever it is, in Exodus 21, 22. But you're home. And nobody has to pay for your groceries for 5 years for stealing the neighbor's motorcycle. The system we have today is insane. America, 4% of the population of the world, 26% of the world's prisoners, the largest prison system on the planet, right here. And when I become king, I'm shutting it all down. I've asked probably 1,000 guys as I've been in prison. Simple question, guys. If you were given an option after you're found guilty and fair trial, blah, 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 no question you're guilty of whatever the crime was, okay? The judge says, here's your question. Do you want 20 lashes or 5 years in prison? Which would you take? All of them, without exception, said I would take the 20 lashes. I said, second question. Which would be a better deterrent to not do it again? He said, the 20 lashes is a much better deterrent. I would never do it again. Okay. Which would be cheaper for society? Well, the 20 lashes. Okay. Which would be better for your family? Well, the 20 lashes. I go home, I'm sore for a week, I heal up, I go back to work, I don't lose my job, don't lose my car, don't quit making payments on stuff, I don't lose my family. It's just common sense 101. So, and for other crimes, you simply get executed. In the Bible, if somebody would commit certain crimes, they're spelled out, you kill them. That's what it says. If someone rapes your daughter, She does not need to watch him get thrown in prison, and then she's forced to pay for his groceries for the next 20 years, which is what's happening right now. And then she's worried about him getting out. Watch the TV shows where the guy gets out and goes back after the person that put him in jail. And no, it's dumb. She lives in constant fear. There's no healing. Common Sense 101, Psychology 101. Your daughter who gets raped needs to watch that guy get executed, either shot or stoned or hung or whatever they're going to do in that country, or a gas chamber, a lethal injection. Find some way to put him out of our misery. Okay? And then she needs to go spit on his grave every day if she needs to until she heals up emotionally and go on with her life. That's common sense. And so, yes, I recommend the biblical method of fine them, beat them, or kill them, depending on the crime, after a fair trial. And it's just, yes, that would be a whole lot cheaper, and it would work so much better. And when I become king, that's what I'm going to do. I'll just tell you, don't come to my kingdom, or that's what it's going to be like. Okay, we're going to follow God's law. Now, with that said, if somebody indeed said, Kent Hovind, Brian on YouTube playing an audio of Kent Hovind saying that we should kill everybody that is a sinner. I don't know that Brian said that. You are saying Brian said that. So if Brian did say that, he's lying. Okay? If you said he said it and he didn't, then you are lying, Eli. Okay? Be careful. This is troubling me. It should trouble you. I did not say that. No, it's not true. Are you really supporting that book, The Shack? I don't know if supporting is the right word. I recommended it, for heaven's sake. And I still recommend it. Is that supporting it? I don't know. Anyway, I did say you should read it, and I said it again tonight. Yeah, read the book. It's great. It'll change your life. I think it's good. Eat the meat, spit out the bones, for heaven's sake. But if you think it's evil, then don't do it. Don't get close to that book. Is this Brian correct? I don't know. I don't know that you represented him correctly. If what you said is true about what he said, then no, Brian is not correct. Okay? I attached the link for the video. It seems a lot of people agree with him. Well, okay. I've got about 1 million people have watched my videos, and it looks like we're going to lose a few thousand. Okay. See you later. I'm not trying to build a big crowd. Jesus had a whole bunch of folks following him. Read John chapter 6. At the end of the chapter, they all left, back down to 12. Jesus said, you guys going to leave too? No, we're staying with you. Okay, let's go. I'm not trying to build a crowd. I'm not trying to build a following. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to please my Heavenly Father. It's all that matters to me. And if you want to come along, come along. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. Turn the channel or whatever you do. I don't know how you switch a YouTube. Is there a remote? Theo, help me out on this. How do you? Never mind. We'll work on that. Okay. Issue number 1. These are more criticisms. This is all going to... Let me take issue 2. Rather than cover all 4 of these on this video, I'm going to shut it off after this one, because one of these is about the shack and the others are other topics. So Hannah, I'm going to put these other ones in a different YouTube video answer. Issue number 2, somebody was asking here. The Shack is a satanic book that portrays the Trinity of God as a New Age mystic, 2 women and a hippie named Jesus, and is full of heresy. Well, I suppose if you want to summarize it like that, you can do that. Bible calls God, it says God's a chicken gathering under his wings. Is that true? Wow, don't read Ezekiel or Jeremiah or Isaiah then, because you might get... Come on, okay? It's just a novel. It's a story, and it's clear it's just a story. It's a novel. So it's not a satanic book. I think it's just a novel some guy wrote who was raised on the mission field, and it's a life-changing book, and I think you'd enjoy it. If you don't want to read it, then don't read it. But if you do read it, I think it'll change your life. Did mine. I learned a lot of good things. I understand the theology problems, and I said, okay, I can overlook that. If you eat a T-bone steak, you have to learn, wow, don't eat the bone. You'll choke on that. Eat around. The rest of the stuff around is really good. I haven't had one in 9 years now. I just thought about that. I haven't had a T-bone. I've been home 45 days. I'm going to have to see if my wife can get one of those. She can cook. Whoa. Oh, man, her mama taught her. That's a long story. Anyway, wow. I said, I better keep this woman for multiple reasons, one of which is her fabulous cooking. So, yes, I do recommend The Shack. Read it, and I hope you enjoy it. If you don't like it, tell me. Say, I don't like it. Okay. But are you going to devote your life to telling other people, to preaching against a paperback book, a novel? I'm not going to. I don't promote the book. I don't sell it. I just simply mention I like it. And I'm only doing this video because of the questions I got. Okay, I want my YouTube time here to be drawing people closer to the Lord. That's the goal. And I think if you read the Shack, you will be drawn closer to the Lord. So go read. Hope you enjoy this. I'm going to bed. I'll do some more of these as soon as I can. Thank you so much.